I am so old that I have done many things. Okay, so I presented a program on the BBC for 25 years, a culture program. I've edited cinema magazines. I've edited or been deputy editor of a political magazine called The New Statesman, which is a very famous political magazine. I've been director of the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London. And in 1998, I traveled to China with Tony Blair because I used to write political articles. So the idea of Cool Britannia, I don't know if you'll remember this, I'm the guy who invented Cruel Britannia. But I've been trying to move between China and Europe for the last 20 years. So I'm a broadcaster, I'm an author, I'm a curator, I'm a political advisor, I'm lots of things.
And the art ambassador for Daugavpils.
And an ambassador for Daugavpils.
Through the center of Marka Rotko.
Yeah, so I first came to Daugavpils, to the center, when it opened. I came to record a program for the BBC about the opening of the centre. And for me, this was very important because I was brought up in England and there was a very famous clown called Coco the Clown. And Coco the Clown was born in Dauгавпилс together with Marka Rotko. They were both Jewish children. And so for me, Dauгавпилс had always meant two things, Marka Rotko and also this clown. So I came to Dauгавпилс in about 10 years ago, and I thought what was happening in Dauгавпилс was really very interesting. And over the last 10 years, I've come round to the view that the two most interesting areas of the world are China and, for want of a better term, Eastern Europe. And those, for me, are the most interesting places because they're changing very fast. And from then, I've tried to help the centre as much as I can because I think the centre is very interesting for a lot of reasons.
What exact collaborations can you mean? The brightest ones for you, your favorite, or maybe artists you brought to us?
There are two very different ones. Mm-hmm. There's a very famous British female abstract artist called Gillian Ayres, who, this is women's moment in the art world. It's taken a long time to arrive, but we brought an exhibition of hers to Dauгавпилс. And we also took a huge show of hers to Beijing. So she was showing in Beijing and in Dauгавпилс. And then the second thing we did, if you ask for my favorite, is last year we brought a Chinese artist called Kang Haitao. And he's interesting because he's a provincial artist.
Is he?
Sichuan, where he was born. His work goes for 300,000 euros at auction. So he's a very famous artist, but he's stayed provincial. And I think part of the interest of Dauгавпилс is that it's provincial. It's not Riga. It's not at all like Riga. It's one of those border places. It's between Latvia and Russia, which at the moment is a very complicated place to be. I like the fact that, you know, in Dauгавпилс you can be in Lithuania, Estonia, you can be in lots of places. So I think your part of the world, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, is a part of the world that Western Europe does not know a lot about, but it ought to know. Western Europe is very ignorant of much of the world. And I think places like Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia need to be known more.
So you really believe, sir, that we can, Daugavpils, I mean, we can become some sort of point, cross point for different cultures?
Yeah. So
potentially.
I have a joke that what we need are more railway stations or more airports.
Right.
By that I mean places where people come and go. And you know, Daugavpils is a city that is about coming and going. So Marka Rotko begins his life, it's not even called Daugavpils when he is
Right.
there. But Rothko goes to America and becomes very famous. Coco the clown, this Jewish clown, comes to Britain and becomes the most famous clown in Britain. It's a place of comings and goings. It looks both east and it looks west. So I love it that Marka Rothko's children, or Kate Rothko, you know, will come to Daugavpils next month, where her father was born. It's the kind of place China needs. This isn't the Chinese government, but Chinese people, Chinese cultural people, need a door to bring them to Europe. And Paris is a difficult door to open. Berlin is a difficult door to open. London is a very difficult door to open. But Latvia and Daugavpils, in a sense, are easier. And one of the things I think that's very important about Daugavpils is that ceramics are very important. And of course, ceramics take you to Asia. So I think Daugavpils and Latvia's opportunities are very big, but it needs to be brave.
And what do you think, sir, what we need to make a bigger step towards this, to become this cross point, except railways, I understood, inspiration, and...
It's true. So I think above all, what Daugavpils needs to do is to develop a story about itself for the rest of the world. And for instance, you know, it would be a good idea to try and have a festival. So it would be really interesting to have a Baltic States festival.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could bring that festival to London. Okay. Because of course, London out here in the streets is full of Latvians, Lithuanians, Polish, do you know what I mean? And so Estonians and so on and so on. Like a festival that showcases the best of Baltic culture, including food, including fashion, including music, including art, including ceramics. And then you bring it to London or to Paris and Berlin, and you help to change the view of Daugavpils and the Baltic states. So if the world will not come to Daugavpils, Daugavpils needs to go to the world.